Procedure, materials and risks. First, you need 2 push connector clips. The black connectors will act as the negative wires and the red ones will act as the positive wires. You will also need 2 crocodile clips with wires. These will act as the connections for the resistors. You will need 4 terminals from where the push connectors will connect. The 2 red terminals will be the positive terminals. The 2 black terminals will be the negative terminals. You will also need a plastic tray to fix all of the equipment onto. And you will need a light globe with connector wires. So the next step would be to fix all of the equipment on. In the previous picture, you will see that all of the top materials have been fixed to the tray. This can be done with either glue or solder. Underneath, you will see the view of where the wires come through and make their connections between the other wires. Again, black wires are for negative and red wires are for positive. You will need a light globe. For this experiment, I've chosen to use a 20-watt voltage. You will also need a power supply. For this experiment, I've used a 12-volt power supply, which comes with a terminal and a plug. You can also choose to use a battery, 9-volt or 12-volt, and if you chose to use a battery, you would need a battery connector to be able to connect the battery to the wires. Choose your resistive materials to use. For this experiment, I have chosen to use a lead pencil, an eraser, and a piece of aluminium foil. It's important to consider the risks associated with an experiment. For this experiment, I have identified the following risks. Use of the power supply. It is important to educate children to use the power supply correctly. To only use under supervision, and once connected, it should be left alone. The next risk identified is the heat from the resistors. Because the energy being used in the resistor is transformed into heat energy, some of the materials can get hot very quickly. It is important not to touch these materials and to only have them connected to the power supply for a limited time. Another risk I've also identified is touching the connections when on. This includes the power supply, the terminals, and the wires and the connectors. It's important to keep clear of these metal parts because they may carry charge, and even though we are only using small voltage, it is still a risk that should be kept in the mind.